Hi everyone, it's Pam, and today I'm doing a Q&A. It's been a while since I did one of these. I think the last one and first one I did was back when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So there's no particular celebration or landmark for this one. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. So I put out a call for questions a little while ago. I got some on my Patreon and some on my channel, so I'm going to start off with the questions from the people who support me on Patreon. The first question comes from Adventure Game Geek, who has a great channel where he reviews adventure games, and he asks, what is your favorite adventure game and why? Also, do you plan to review any other Tex Murphy or FMV games? So, favorite adventure game is actually a hard question. Like, if you just ask my favorite game, I have an answer right off the top of my head, but with adventure game, I have to be like, is it this one? Is it that one? Do I consider what's culturally significant or just what I like to play the best? So I'm just going to go with the game that I think is the most enjoyable to play, and that is Quest for Glory 4. And this is sort of a combination between an RPG and an adventure game. So it is your basic point and click, but it does have some real-time combat, and it does have multiple solutions to puzzles. So like you can pick your class. So if you're a thief, you have, stealthy solutions, and magic users have really interesting magic solutions, and fighters just like push things over and climb things. So Quest for Glory 4 takes place all within like Eastern European mythology, which I think is really interesting. Oh, Lily's going to be in this video. And it's just a really fun game. I remember the first time I played it, and I still have fun playing it now, and I think it's the best of the Quest for Glory series. As for the Tex Murphy and FMV games, yes, I definitely plan to review the Pandora Directive, which would probably be my second favorite adventure game. I really love that one. I think it takes everything that Under a Killing Moon does and just improves upon it. So I would like to get the box for that before I do my actual review. I'm pretty sure I still have my discs for Pandora Directive, but the box went in the garbage at some point. So I do want to review Pandora Directive, and there's also some more FMV games. There's some more stuff on Sega CD I want to do. There's one I have on PS1 called Fox Hunt, which isn't supposed to be very good, but that's okay. And then I might want to do some of the newer FMV games that have been coming out, like Contradiction looks pretty interesting. I've played The Bunker. I'm not sure if I want to review that, but definitely more Tex Murphy and more FMV reviews coming up. Thank you for your question. So the next question comes from Diego, and he asks, what are some of your favorite one-season series? I like the idea of short commitments for my time and writers having to craft concise stories. So based on the second part of this, I assume you're looking for series that are supposed to only be one season, and I actually was really stumped when it came to that. I have some series that I like that are one season, but it's because they were canceled. So it generally means the story was not really wrapped up. I think a lot of BBC shows, if you want to think of it that way, like they're not necessarily one season, but their seasons are only, maybe 4 episodes, and then if they go 3 series, then that's, 12 episodes, which is like a season in, primetime sort of American television. So in terms of things that were only one season though, Firefly is one of my favorite ones. I think that was a great space cowboy show. There's one called Surface, which started off really good, although it sort of dipped at the end, about these weird things that start happening in the oceans and these previously unknown sea creatures that start appearing, and I am a sucker for sea monsters, so I liked that one. Clone High is a good one. It's an animated one where there's clones of famous figures in history like Abe Lincoln and Cleopatra and Gandhi. And another one which is like, not top-notch television, but I enjoyed it because of how much of an X-Files fan I was, and that was The Lone Gunmen, because I really liked those guys on the X-Files, so I was excited when they had their own show. And some of the episodes are pretty good, and some of them not so much. But yeah, I really can't think of too many one season shows where it's like they set out to do that and they completed their arc and their story in one series. But I would really be interested in watching more of those, because I agree, I like things that are short and complete, just like I like my games. So the next questions come from Ricardo, who has a few of them. And the first one is about Warcraft. And he asks, do you have any funny stories when you used to play WoW and Raid? Did you have some drama with your guildies? So, there's one story which I think fits both of these. When Burning Crusade was out, I was in a guild called Echelon, and I played a Resto Druid, which is what I played for most of my WoW time. And one day we were in Gruul's lair trying to kill him. And our guild, we weren't great. We had some really good players and then some players who just had an absolute lack of awareness and would be dead all the time. And, if we had the choice, we wouldn't bring them. But, it was hard to get 25 people in one spot at one time and get them all coordinated. So sometimes you just had to work with what you had. So there was this other Resto Druid whose name was John Galt, and I think that name probably says everything you need to know about this guy. But he got very upset while we were in Gruul's lair because people were dying, we weren't killing the boss. He got really, really angry, and eventually he left. He just hearthed out of the raid instance, went back to Shatrath, and then G-quit, which means quit the guild. And so we're like, oh, well, that's a shame. We put in a backup and we continued on our way. And then as we're raiding and trying to kill Gruul, this guy is logging onto every one of his alts, and he had 8 of them. He just log on, G-quit, log on, G-quit, log on, G-quit. He gets to his final alt, and for some reason the game doesn't let him G-quit. It keeps telling him that he's the guild master, which is not correct. He's just alt-ranked, he's not an officer, he's not anything. But apparently there was this bug when you did a whole bunch of promotions in quick succession in terms of the guild ranks, it could bug out. So for some reason, the game thought that he was the guild master, and you can't quit the guild when you're the guild master. You have to assign someone else to be the leader. But he didn't think of this, and he was just mad, and he wanted to be out of the guild. So instead, he typed out G-disband, which disbanded the guild. So we were no longer in a guild together. We were in the middle of a raid. All of a sudden, our guild was just gone. And we're like, oh, shit, this sucks. But we're like, okay, well, that's annoying, but we can finish out our raid. The guild master will go to Ironforge afterwards and restart our guild again. So we finished off the raid. We went back to Ironforge and tried to restart our guild, but our name, Echelon, was already taken. Because when this guy had quit, he had been talking in trade chat about how he had disbanded our guild, and someone, I don't know if it was him or someone else who just happened to be listening, decided it would be really funny if they went and registered our guild name and essentially stole it from us. So that was just, I don't know, I think I'll remember that for as long as I live. It was such a ridiculous situation, and now I can definitely laugh at it, but it just seems so petty, and the whole combination of the bug in the ranking system and how someone who wasn't an officer could disband the guild, and then someone stole the guild from us, and we had to go through more names. I think we did Echelon with an accent or something on it, and then it eventually got changed to Honk, because when we thought of Echelon, it was the shape geese fly in, so Honk was our name for a while. But yeah, so that was that was funny and very dramatic in terms of WoW things. So hope you liked that story. Ricardo had another couple questions. Do I have a love-hate relationship with the trolls? I don't think so. I don't love the trolls. However, if I have to read people's bullshit on my videos, then I'm going to have a laugh at their expense and take their public comments and make them extra public and, try to laugh it off rather than just have to, read it and pretend it wasn't there. And then the last question is, am I excited to play The Last of Us 2? And I am, actually. I didn't think The Last of Us really needed a sequel. However, I really like the idea that we'll be playing as Ellie. Left Behind, the DLC, was like some of my favorite gaming memories in the recent past. So yeah, I didn't love The Last of Us as much as a lot of people did, but I am looking forward to playing as Ellie in the second one. Alright, so the last Patreon question comes from Flock of Nerds, who also has a great YouTube channel that you can check out. His question is, if you could do a video game review collaboration with any celebrity, living or dead, who would it be and why? I'd do a game review and ask Stanley Kubrick to direct. So originally when I was thinking about this question, I thought about Emmanuel Lubezki, who does the cinematography for Alfonso Cuarón, just because he does these amazing long takes, like in Children of Men, and I love a good long take. That's like one of my favorite things as far as cinematography goes. However, the more I thought about that, the more I thought, if they were long takes, I probably couldn't be in them because I screw up a lot. Like when I have a script, I do multiple takes. Even if I'm just reading like 3 sentences, I will generally screw up and have to re-record it a few times before I actually get it right. So long takes would probably not be the best thing for me. So the next thing I thought of was Shonda Rhimes. I would love for her to do the concept and the writing of a script for a review. I'd want it to be as ridiculous as possible. I would want secret identities and bombs and murders and love affairs. Like, I would just want it to be like ultra dramatic. So I think Shonda Rhimes is who I would want to collaborate with on a video. The next question comes from the Gamer's Vault. I loved your Let's Play on Vampire the Masquerade. Will you be doing another Let's Play soon? Or maybe a review on a weird game called Harvester? As far as Harvester goes, probably not, because from everything I've heard, that game is like just bad. Just bad in many ways. So probably not Harvester. I would like to do another Let's Play at some point. I don't want to do too many of them, but a couple a year is sort of the sweet spot for me, I think. I just need to figure out what to do a Let's Play of. I mean, ideally I would like to do something with like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because I had a lot of fun with that. So something where I can voice the protagonist and read some things, make some comments, but nothing that's like too much. And preferably something a little bit shorter than Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because that actually took a really long time to do. But if anyone has recommendations or ideas of what I should do for my next Let's Play, please let me know. The next question is from Skyfire Flame, and they ask, I've noticed you have quite a few games in your library. When you acquire a new game or two, do you buy with the intent to play or review, or simply have in your collection? Generally, I buy with the intent to play games. With new games, it's always something I want to play, not just something I want to collect. With retro games, I do want to play them. It doesn't always work out. Like, I have things I bought a couple years ago that I still haven't got to, just because I have more games than time. Occasionally, though, I'll just buy something that I had when I was younger that I no longer have, and I just, sort of want that back in my collection, even if I'm not really planning to play it again. But yeah, for the most part, I do plan to play the things I buy. I'm not so much into the collecting just to have large numbers of things. My boyfriend is not like that, which is why we have large numbers of games. But the stuff that I personally buy is the stuff that I want to play. The next question is from Laura JS, who asks, tell us what game you'd love to live in and why. The first thing I thought of for this question was Spira, but not the Spira from Final Fantasy X, because in that, Sin's going around just killing everyone all over the place, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So I want to live in the Spira from Final Fantasy X Part 2, after Yuna has defeated Sin. I just find that it's probably one of the most beautiful worlds in video games. Everything is very colorful. There's blue skies and great oceans. There's mountains in the calm lands and areas that are obviously very, very magical. There's airships flying around. Yeah, so I would definitely join up with Yuna and the Gullwings and go around being a spear hunter and getting new outfits for every job I took on. I think that would be super cool. So Spira is definitely the game world I would live in, but Posin. Alright, the next question comes from Phoenix. Were you ever bullied in school, and if so, how did you deal with it? I was bullied in school from grade 6 and 7, I think. Originally it just started because I moved schools in grade 6, so I started a new school, and the person I made friends with, she was kind of bullied, so I made friends with her, and then I just sort of got bullied too. I guess we weren't the cool kids or something. So there was this one class, because there was 3 grade 6 classes at that time, and there was one class that had all the kids that were kind of assholes, and they were the ones that did all the bullying. So I went through that in grade 6, and then it continued through grade 7. I never got physical. I was once like held against a wall by my neck, but I didn't get punched or anything, so that's nice. Mainly I tried to just ignore them, or give them sass whenever they tried to do anything. Luckily it didn't get too bad, and I had a nice group of friends who were there and were very supportive. And then grade 7, I also started getting bullied by the grade 8s, because on a trip back from Wonderland, I sat in the back of the bus, which is, where the grade 8s sit, and I refused to move for them. So after that, they did not like me. They bullied me about that, and they bullied me because they thought my shorts were too short, so I got called a slut. But then the grade 8s left, and by the time grade 8 it sort of stopped by grade 8, and then by high school, even though I went to school with a bunch of those people, it had sort of stopped, and the girls who were bullying me started being really nice to me in high school, and I was uncomfortable with that. I just sort of refused to interact with them throughout. So yeah, that's my bullying story. And the last question is from Nicholas Moose, and it is, how do you take your coffee? If I'm going out, like if I'm getting coffee on the way to work or something, I get either lattes, or lately I've been moving to cappuccinos just because they are a little bit stronger, and I take those with 1 sugar in them, raw sugar, always real sugar, never the fake sugar because it tastes like poison. And then if I'm at home, I make lattes here again with 1 sugar. But if I'm just gonna go for like just coffee, like at Tim Hortons or something, then I will get a medium double-double, and a double-double for non-Canadians means 2 cream, 2 sugar. I try not to drink those though, because 2 cream and 2 sugar is a lot of calories with very little nutritional value, which is why I drink milk-based coffee drinks now. Alright, that is it for the Q&A. Thank you so much to everyone who had a question for me. I hope my answers were good. I'll be back in a little while. I've got another video planned soon. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.